Well, we've got the Vudoo 22 long rifle all set up. It's purring like a kitten. But there was one more thing that I wanted to put on it, and that was a tuner. Hi everyone, it's the 4-gun guy. And of course, you know, you always have to tweak your rifles just to get that little extra bit of accuracy out of them. So I went with a tuner. So what I wanted to do today is just talk about what a tuner does, why you might want to put it on your rifle. And this is on a 22 long rifle. It could go on a bigger gun. Why I chose the Kinetic ATS as the tuner. I'm going to do a little unboxing and mounting. We'll spend a little time doing that. And then we're going to talk about some groups that I shot. But I want to show you the groups without the tuner and then with the tuner. And then we'll just have some final thoughts. So if you're ready to go, let's get to it. Why do we need a tuner? Well, this rifle shoots really well, and you're going to see some groups without the tuner and then groups with the tuner, and you'll see the difference. It all has to do with the barrel harmonics. Now, I am not an expert on barrel harmonics by any stretch of the imagination, but it really has to do with the projectile as it's moving down the barrel and interacting with the barrel and causing vibrations in the barrel. So it can cause your groups to open up if those two aren't matched together. That's the barrel and the projectile. So one other thing to consider is, from what I'm understanding, people I've talked to, this is very projectile specific. So if I was I'm going to tune this with SK rifle match ammo. I've just started using this. I really like it. And I have some Lapua Center X. I have Lapua Exact. And I have a little bit of Lapua Midas Plus. But I've found a lot of this available, this SK. And so far, it's shot very well for me. So I'm tuning this to this specific ammunition. I have been told that if I change to, say, a Center X or an Exact, I want to validate that this thing has tuned the barrel to that ammunition as well. I'm going to give you a little cheat here and say that with Center X and this stuff is exactly the same through this barrel with this tuner. So I know those two work perfectly through it. But again, what you don't want to do is tune this to a specific ammunition, change maybe to a different brand, and then all of a sudden things are falling apart and you're wondering why. You're going to have to retune, or you're going to have to confirm your tuning, let's put it that way, if you go to a different type of ammunition. So that's why you might want to mount a tuner on your rifle. It's going to tighten those groups. It's going to tame the barrel harmonics to work in conjunction with the cartridge, the ammunition that you choose to fire through the rifle. Okay, so why the Kinetic Security Solutions ATS Tuner? So, there's others out there, but when I started to do my research, what I found with this tuner was it utilizes my existing muzzle threads. So that was a plus. There's no additional gunsmith work. You can mount this yourself on the rifle. It comes in various sizes. So I could get one for my 6.5 Creedmoor, which I may, or I could get one for my Vudoo, which is the one that's mounted on it right now. It was invented and developed by Aaron Hipp, who's a pretty renowned shooter and gunsmith. And the goal was really to design a tuning system that the shooter could just mount themselves and tune themselves. So you didn't need a gunsmith to do all this. Now, the other thing about this that I really like is I just have the thread protector on here right now that was on the barrel. So that's awesome that I can just reuse my thread protector on the barrel. However, if I did want to mount a muzzle brake on here or put that Omega 300, that Silencer Co. Omega 300 that I had on this thing initially, I could go ahead and mount that right before this tuner. And then of course you'd retune and make sure everything's fine. So I like those options that it gives you. It's very easy to install, as you'll see. And that's why I really chose the ATS. Now they do have a statement on their website that says if you have a muzzle brake or something up here that is like not self-timing, you may have some challenges using that with the tuner. And I could see why, if this tuner is going to be, if the optimum tuning puts this outer piece out beyond the inner piece, it could start to interfere with some of those other devices. So just be aware of that when you choose a tuner or when you choose this one specifically. But I really like the simplicity of this design. And as you're going to see here in a minute, I really like their instructions. I like their instructions. I like their honesty. They just seem like a company that's telling you, do this, do this, do this, don't do this, don't do this, and don't do that. It's little things like that that I really like about their product. So those are the reasons why I chose the ATS. Let's look at unboxing and mounting now. Well, from an unboxing perspective, it's pretty simple. I mean, it comes in a box. You've got a shim here. You've got the adjustment tool. They actually even give you a little round arrow here that I'm assuming you're supposed to put on here to indicate where you've set the timing of it, the tuning of it. But here's another thing, and look, they say this a lot of times, both on their website and now on the packaging. Basically, I love this feature that they've done here. What they're saying is you've got 3 set screw holes on this tuner. Okay, let's just bring this thing out. You've got 1, 2, 3 set screw holes. Okay, what they're telling you is you only use 1 set screw. That's all you're supposed to use, just 1. You don't use 3 just because there's 3 holes. In fact, they don't give you 3. They give you 2. They give you 1 that's in the tuner, and they give you an extra one in the package here. Let me tell you what these guys have thought of. The reason there are 3 holes here is because they know most of us guys are dumb you-know-whats, and we're going to strip one of these holes. So they're giving us 3 tries to not strip out their product. I think that's awesome. And that's basically what they're telling you. They're saying, look, don't use 2 set screws. Don't use 3 set screws. Just use 1. But we've given you 3 holes in case you screw up 1 or 2 of the holes. So I read that and I was like, you know what? These guys actually know us and that we will over torque things. So look, this is what comes in the package. When you get this and you have spent $200 on this, you're going to look at it and go, really? That's all there is? It's just a piece of metal that, and yeah, if you look out on the internet, you'll see people who are doing tuna can. There's one called tuna can, but literally tuna can tuners, or they'll put pipe straps on their barrel. Look, if you want to do that and save yourself some money, I think that's awesome. But when you get into a barricade and that thing starts getting hung up on everything, you're going to wish you had probably spent the $200 on this thing. The other thing that they do here that I really like is they give you a QR code. So when you really come into this thing, I can come down here, I can say scan QR code, I can scan this thing. There we go. And it just brings me to the installation, the tuner installation guide. So there it is right there. So I think that's pretty nice that they put that in there. It's not a piece of paper you're going to lose or whatever. Basically how this thing works is, look, I'm taking off the muzzle protector here. You're going to take this tuner. I'm going to screw this on. Make sure you do not strip those screws, cross strip them. I'm screwing that on there, as you can see, hopefully. I hope it's in focus. And then you have some options. This is one thing I like about this one, and this is why I went with this one. Some of the others, you're torquing down something on your barrel. I like this one because number one, it screws right on to the muzzle here. Number two, you'll notice that the screws here, or that the threads here are extended past the muzzle. This means that I can do a number of things. If I wanted to, and I thought about this, but I'm not going to, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and just mount a muzzle brake. Now I would time this so it's, you know, level like that. But I got to thinking about it and I was like, you know what though, look, I don't want anything to interfere with the projectile, the blast behind the projectile, or anything. And I was actually running an Omega 300 with a 308 front on it on this rifle. And I thought maybe I'll put that on there. But I told you what, in the last match, what I found out was that was way too long. And in some of those positions, I was having a hard time getting this thing set in position. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just put the thread protector back on, and we're going to leave this just like this. And now, basically, guys, I'm going to tighten it down a little bit. Basically, we are set. You're basically, I'm loosening this nut. You're bringing this thing back, this weight back or forward, and you're just going to keep doing this until you find the right group. Now, there's a process in their instructions here that actually walk you through all that. So if you look at their instructions, they will tell you this is what you do, this is how you do it. Very good instructions. And so when I get to the range on Saturday, that's what I'm going to do. I'll start at a certain point, and then I will tighten this down. You'll fire a 2-shot group, 2 shots, see how close they are. And what they're saying is you're going to adjust this about 1 tick or 2 ticks or 3 ticks until you start to get groups that are very close to each other. Once you get groups that are right on top of each other, you're in that node. And then what you want to do is start moving left and right just a little bit by the markings here so you can get into that node that you're going to be on. And then you're set. So let's talk about the results. Now, I'm really sorry. I had some video shot of me shooting with this, but I can tell you that the conditions when I did that video were horrible. I started at my range after a big gun match. The winds were 15 to 17 miles an hour. I couldn't get anything even remotely on paper, and I didn't want to waste the ammo. I went to an indoor range, which goes out to 100 yards. They had their air conditioning cranked up, and so all the targets are flipping back and forth down there. It was a mess. So I just put it all off. I took this thing off, and I had got in a bunch of SK match ammo. And so last Friday, the Friday before a 22 match that I did really well for me at, I decided to go up and try to tune this again. So with all that said, I don't have any shooting video, and I apologize for that because I didn't even take my camera up there. But here's what I want to show you is, let me see if I can get this focused, and we're going to look at some things. So I started at 50 yards. I think you can see this. So for example, here's 50 yards, no ATS, no tuner. Here is 75 yards, no ATS, 50 yards. That's a really good group at 50 yards with no ATS. And then I did, 50, 75, 100. So here's another 75, 50, 50, 50. These are pretty good looking little groups. And then I went to 100 yards. So here's 100 yards, no ATS. These are all no ATS. And then I just shot a couple different types of ammo as well. I put some 10X and some Ely Club, but this was all with the SK. So look, not bad groups, right? Then I put the tuner on, and let me show you how long it took me to tune this thing. So I put the tuner on, and here are these results. I started at 0, and I did 2-shot groups like they recommend. So 2 shots, another 2 shots. That's pretty good. Then I went to 4, so I cranked it to 4. 2 shots, and this is actually 1 shot. Then I went to 8, 2 shots, 2 shots, and then this was another just single shot. Then I went to 12. That's a single shot. That's 2 shots right there, guys, 2 shots. I kept it on 12. That's 2 shots. That's a single hole with 2 shots. And this is what they're telling you. They're saying you're going to start, you're going to dial it, and once you hit this, then you're going to start going. Then I went to 16. Pretty good, but starts to open up. Opened up a little more at 16. Then I went to 18, which is close to 16. 18 again, then 20, and then 24 really opened up here. So I'm telling you, it took me what? Less than, I'm going to say 30 rounds, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, I don't know. Less than 30 or 40 rounds, less than a box to tune this thing in. And I'm going to tell you what I did. I just came back to the 12 and I said, hey, that's good enough for me. If I can put two in one hole, and this is what they're telling me to do, I'm sticking with 12. Then I decided to shoot out to 100 yards with that, with it set at 12. And this was the group at 100 yards. So this is a 0.44 inch group. Not bad at 100 yards. This was from another time I shot. But this was a 0.44 inch group at 100 yards, which is pretty darn good. And it's a little better than what we were seeing here with these 100-yard shots, right? Whoops, let me bring this up here. So if I'm looking at all this, I'm trying to get the glare off of this. 100 without, 100 without, 100 without. I think that was it on the 100 without. And this was 100 with. So that's a lot tighter than those other hundreds. So those are the results. I just wanted to kind of show those to you and then tell you that at the match I went to on Saturday, I did really well. Now I was 5th out of, there were only 15 of us there, but I was 5th. But the pros that I shot against, one of them beat me by 1 point, 1 shot. 2 others beat me by 3 or 4 shots. And then of course the winner beat me by, I think like 6 or 7 shots. So, I mean, they're really good guys, but I'm just telling you that this really has given me some added confidence here, in my shooting, and my confidence out to and beyond the 100-yard mark. Now, I haven't done this test out past 100 yards. I haven't. I've gone out to 200 with it, or to 100. But the targets we were shooting at this match this last Saturday, I want to say only out to like 200, 220, because he was afraid it was going to rain that day. But in practice, before the match, I was going out to 280 and 320, and I was hitting the targets. So the targets were, you know, I don't know, one of them was an IPSC, maybe like this and like this, 300 yards. I was happy with it. So I can tell you that this does make a difference. And I'm going to try to put it to a few more tests and maybe get some of those distances out there. I really don't want to take it off though, because when I take it off, then I'm going to probably have to retune it unless I can remember exactly how I put it on there. So let's go ahead and hit the final thoughts. Well, final thought's going to be pretty simple. I mean, the proof is in the pudding here. I think these tighter groups at 100 yards really say it all. just really impressed with this thing. Now, I will tell you, you know, there's a couple things here, and you'll see some of these other ones out on the market. They're all hanging around $200. And when you look at this and when you get this in the box, you're going to go, really, 200 bucks? There's a lot of machining that goes into these things. And yeah, I think it's worth it. I do. Now, I wish there was a better way as you're dialing this to see exactly where you are as far as how many revolutions I've gone and all of that. And maybe it could be some indicator on the inside here. I don't know, but that would be my only thought there. It's really good workmanship on this thing. You know, there's no rough edges or anything like that. And it's so simple to use, in my opinion. And I love the fact that I don't have to have a gunsmith install this for me. I was able to do this, as you saw in the video, I was able to do this and install this thing in 1 minute, right? And then of course it's the tuning. But again, where I started with the tuning was dead even with the inner part of this. Before I had played around with it, I was starting way back and it wasn't doing as well as starting right up there. So happy with this KSS ATS Tuner, and I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm probably going to get one of these for my 6.5 Creedmoor, and especially with my hand loading, just to get that little bit of accuracy out of that. Maybe I'll do a video on that one as well. So hey, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the comments, subscriptions, the likes, everything. I really, really do appreciate it. And until next time, shoot straight.